Welcome.
Okay, yeah, this is not working.
I don't
You
care.
do it.
I do it. Okay. Welcome to Ventures to Hearsay Tomfoolery. I didn't forget the name of our podcast.
Ventures in Hearsay Tomfoolery.
Oops. Yeah.
Professional
We're professionals
podcaster
here.
right here.
Okay.
Only the best podcast. That's why also last month's episode was just invisible. We didn't
Yes.
not record it.
We didn't miss. We didn't miss a
No,
schedule.
of course
What are you
not.
talking about? We
To
never
be
do
fair,
that.
we announced that we might have one this last month.
Yeah, we didn't say for sure. We
Yes.
said maybe. So,
Okay.
yeah. Anyways, today we are playing Helltakers?
Something like that, yes.
Yes, which is a free puzzle game about
Yes.
finding human girls. It's not important. What is important is the subject of today. The subjects, I should say. I'm so clever. We're going to talk today about two shows that have a link with, well, hell. Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Bus. So, for starters, well, those two shows have something in common, is that they fall into the adult media category. So, we're going to start talking about that, because there's quite a bit of adult media, and not all of it is great.
Good.
There's this, well, especially when it comes to animation, and those two shows are animated, there's sort of stigma regarding, animated shows, just animations in general, which are kind of seen as a children's format for movies and shows and whatever. And the few shows that have come out trying to reach adults, I've usually done it in a very specific way, which is a lot of vulgarities, a lot of sex and disgusting jokes, and pretty much nothing else.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a niche for it. I would point at certain shows, but I know that people will probably be mad at it, even though I believe this show started with a different point, but they kind of ended up falling into this, like South Park and The Simpsons, which they were supposed to have more morals, more moral question to address, but it ended up being a little more, a little messy, I'd say.
Yes.
But yeah, so a lot of shows like this sadly fall into the, well, we're gonna say a lot of fucks, and that's gonna be hilarious, and adults love it because we can swear,
Yeah.
and make
and
sex
you get
jokes.
to be as racist as you want.
Yeah, and you get to fuck. Yeah, so it's not very great, because when I think about adult media, not in animations, but movies that most people would consider to be for adults, it's not just vulgarity and insult. There can be a lot more things you can do in an adult medium, like talking about hard subjects that are not very suitable for children. Do you have an example of this? For some
This
reason,
war of mine.
This War of Mine, yes, excellent example. If you don't know, This War of Mine is a video game that is kind of a management survival video game where you play during a civil war, but you don't play as a soldier. You play as the victim of the civil war, just the civilians still trapped in the city where the civil war is happening, and you have to survive amid and make very difficult choices about, well, in whose house are you going to go gather resources, because you need to survive, you can get sick, you also have children to take care of. There's all that stuff, and that is very adult, and you'll notice that all this happens without anything crass, without any just constant swearing or constant sexual stuff. You can do, a lot without that. So when I think of adult content, I think there's a lot of stuff we can talk about, in a more, because don't get me wrong, if I look at, for example, I never read those books, but I've heard that the Animorph books talked about war. You seem to be struggling there.
I'm having absolutely no fucking idea how to solve this puzzle.
They talk about war, but they were more aimed at not children, but I think they were more aimed towards young adult. I really don't know because I haven't read those books, but you can talk about a lot of subject in children's media, don't get me wrong, but you need to be a little more careful. And you can really, for the advantage of, only going at an adult audience is that you can go as wild as you want to talk about the subjects that you want. In terms of adult show that I think are really cool, would definitely count Castlevania. Because I think children have a hard time watching Castlevania.
Yes.
There is, now that's a funny thing, because this show has vulgarity, it also has sex, and but the most adult part of the show is trauma.
Oh yeah. And general depression.
And discussion about life and philosophy and that sort of stuff. And
to be fair, Castlevania also does have a rather crass tone.
It has a rather crass tone, but it's more to fit the setting.
And to lighten the mood a little.
And to
without
lighten
the
the
crass
mood.
tone, it would be more depressing.
Yes. But that's the thing about adult media, that you can do a lot of things with it when you don't have to worry about being subtle enough for children. And do you have anything else to talk about, to add about that subject?
No?
Well, then we go towards two shows that are presented, and the major thing about them is that they are for adult. It's animated shows about people in hell for adults.
That's
now
why we're playing this game, which is also set in hell.
Yes. So there are two shows that are made by the same person. I forgot her name, which is very not professional.
I know the online handle, but the actual name I would need to look up.
I'm going to look it up real quick. But those two shows are Helluva Boss and Hazbin Hotel. Hazbin Hotel is the first one. Not that came out, but the first one that was presented. There was a pilot episode that released several years ago. And it's made by Vivienne Medrano. I remember the Medrano part, but not Vivienne. I hope I'm pronouncing it well. But yeah.
I don't think you are.
I'm going to pretend I am, because I don't know how to pronounce it. But Hazbin Hotel has a pretty basic setting. The daughter of Lucifer wants to build an hotel to try and offer redemption to the damned souls of hell. Pretty simple in itself. So when you hear that prompt, you can already imagine what kind of show it's going to be, or at least you have an expectation, which is going to be a story about redemption. Pretty simple. People are in hell. Those people are bad people, or they've done bad things, probably for reasons that are trauma, and the point is to try to find a way to redeem them. So pretty classic story, but the whole thing is that it's set in hell, and we're talking about actual damned souls, so you can do a lot of things with it. But we're not going to focus on this show quite yet. We're going to talk about the second one. So Hazbin Hotel was supposed to be a full show, with a budget and all that stuff.
I think it is a full show too.
Yes, but at the time they were releasing the pilot to look for investors, to find a production company, basically, someone that would bankroll them to be able to make their show. And so in the meantime, to still gather support and show what they could do, they began another show called Helluva Boss. This one is a lot less clear in what it wants to do from the get-go. It's a group of creatures from hell, not damned soul, but creatures born in hell. Hell creature, imps, and hellhounds. The imps, demon, hellhounds. Who are born in hell. And they have a company, which is basically they go on Earth and kill people if people from hell wants vengeance from people who killed them or wronged them in life. This is the basic premise, and for the first 2 episodes, it's kind of all you get. And I think for the both of us, we didn't really like Helluva Boss at first. Because the first 2 episodes are this premise, and it really falls into the basic, what we discussed before, the basic adult media trope, which is it was vulgar, it was crass, it was gory, they talked about sex, and they said fuck with every line, and it wasn't very interesting. It was like, yeah, another adult show that is just about saying fuck every 10 seconds. Great. Awesome. But, starting from episode 3, it changed a lot. Quite a lot, in fact. A character that was introduced in episode 1, Stolas, which is the demon, a higher demon, from whom they steal a book that allows them to go to Earth to kill people.
Not stolen, no.
Borrowed.
Yes.
I'm gonna say borrowed, is reintroduced because he's introduced in the first episode very quickly with a different voice actor, and in this episode he is reintroduced. This time he's introduced not as a sex crazed maniac, even though he is, but as a father. And this is the episode where I think a lot of people started to get interested into the show. Because that episode wasn't just about being crass and gore and sexual jokes, even though there was a lot of those. Don't get me wrong, there's several jokes about sex in that show, in that episode, and there's a lot of gore and there's a lot of crass humor. It's all over the place. But the core of the episode is the relationship between Stolas, his daughter, and his failing marriage with his wife. And the consequences that this all has on his daughter. And this is all made from both of their perspective. We see Stolas struggling with, taking care of his daughter, but also wanting to be away from his wife, and his daughter struggling with the fact that her parents hate each other and she doesn't know how to deal with this, and she kind of hates them both. And especially her dad, because it's her dad that seeked the divorce and her dad that cheated on his mom. Now, it's revealed that her mom also cheated, but whatever. Point is, this episode has a lot to say, and it finishes it has very strong emotional moment. One of the most, I think it's one of the most popular song in the show, which is Stolas' Lullaby, which is really cool, by the way, and it just has several.
That's really cool.
It has a lot of emotional moments, and it's just really fun to watch because there's something more that the show is saying besides fuck and oh my god, aren't blowjobs great? Which is nice. So that was the episode that personally made me interested. I was like, okay, that's cool. That's kind of what I want from the shows, right? If I want a show for adult, I want a show that will actually tackle serious problem like trauma and that sort of stuff. That's what I want to see, and I especially want them to have a strong emotional core because I think that's the most interesting part. And when you look at some of the most popular movies and stories out there, they all have a strong emotional core, so it should also have that. So from episode 3 onward, it's basically all about that. You're gonna have an episode about I forgot the name of the imp, the imp couple.
Molly and
Molly?
Nick. Oh wait, you mean the 2 imps?
Yeah, the 2 imps, the imp couple.
One of them is named Molly. The other name is Moxie, I think.
Wait a minute. It's not Molly, is it? I it's so professional, my god.
It is Molly. I'm very certain it's Molly.
Well, that Indian couple has an episode, or it's more focused on one of them. It's more focused on Moxie. Millie.
Oh.
It's Millie.
Oh, my bad. Close enough!
But yeah, it's more focused on it focused on Moxie and Millie, but specifically Moxie. So Moxie is an imp that apparently was part of a mafia family in hell. So you can imagine that
Yeah.
they're fun people, fun kind of people. The father is presented as homophobic, and even though Moxie at the moment of the show is in a straight relationship, he is bisexual. So, you know,
Is
it's
anybody not bisexual in the show?
I don't think so. But in any case, and this episode isn't, again, I'm going to repeat myself a lot, but it's not just about crass stuff, it's not just about sexual jokes, even though there are sexual jokes. The father of Moxie installed installed sex toys, gods, all over the fucking mansion, thinking, well, you gays like that sort of stuff, right? So yeah, it is stupid. But the core of it is Moxie learning to stand up to his father, to his family in general, because
For himself in general.
Yeah, because what he's done and what we learn is that he's run away from his family. He was in a failed robbery that sent him to prison, where he met one of the main character, Blitz, and the O is silent, and that's how they became part of this company that just kills people.
Yes.
So yeah, it's an episode that has a lot to say, and it also finishes on a stupidly violent action scene. But yeah, it's nice. It has.
There's a lot of stupid violence in the show.
There's always a lot of stupid violence, but the point is, the show has a lot more to say besides that. To the point that at some episodes,
the show actually focuses quite a lot about the relationships of these people in absolutely horrible circumstances.
Yes. Basically, the show shows a lot of... It shows those people are bad people. It doesn't try to hide it. But it also shows that those people are the way they are by circumstance more than just by nature. They're not born evil. They just... Because of their past, because of a lot of things, because of denial, because of pain, because of so many things, we see them struggle to have relationship, to talk to people, to open up. And that's the difficulty that they have to face. But it also shows them slowly, it's the very important part, is slowly making progress. Now, the show isn't perfect, and I have a few complaints about it, but I think it has a lot of potential. What is wrong with Helluva Boss? Well, first, even though I say, it has a strong emotional core, at points it kind of forgets that it's an adult show, and I think falls a little too much into, the power of love and that sort of stuff. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but it kind of feels like it. At least in a few places. And also the basis of the show, the hey, we go on Earth to kill people, is kind of lost in translation. By now, there's very few episodes that even talk about this, and it's more the team being recruited to guard a guy, or I think in the latest episode we watched, they actually go and serve as Blitz. Only Blitz goes and serves as a bodyguard for Fitzaroli. Sorry, for Fitz. Which also has a banger song that is amazing, which is here's my 2-minute notice, fuck you.
That's a good song.
But the other problem I have with it is that it's kind of chaotic. It doesn't have, because it's not the way Hazbin Hotel is, it has an overarching plot, but it is more in the background. They don't have a grand objective to accomplish, they don't have a time limit on things that happen, so it's kind of just character living their lives and meeting people that they have wronged or that have wronged them, and just being confronted with situation they have to face and become better people, and they do it piece by piece. We see that Blitz, who honestly feels like a dick at the beginning is just someone that has so much trouble opening to others, scared of rejection, scared of being left alone. And you see that throughout the show, and you see him slowly starting to open. It starts with Fitz, but you also see that he's very attached to his employee, despite how he talks to them, and that if anything would be to happen to them, he would be the first to be on the warpath. We also see that he has an adoptive daughter, which is Luna, which is the one hellhound that he takes care of.
You've seen her on you know which sites.
Yes. But yeah, she was basically abandoned, and the context that is given in Hell is that she was basically in the system of how's it called? Kind of foster children, and he adopted her. So she was abandoned, and he was taking care of her. So yeah, very good show. Not perfect, a bit chaotic, but the fact that it shows a setting and a base plot in which there isn't a through line, there isn't a specific thing they need to follow, then it makes it easier to be chaotic. It's not as much of a problem if all the character arcs are not neatly organized, because they are kind of doing what they want, and that works. But then we go to Hazbin Hotel.
Yes.
Hazbin Hotel, like I said, was the first that was presented with the pilot episode, and the pilot episode is a mess. It's a mess on about every way it could possibly be. A pilot episode is supposed to serve as, we're going to show this to investors, and they're going to watch it and decide if they like it or not. It's also usually used with audiences, show a pilot episode to the audience and see how the audiences react to it. Do people love it? Do people hate it? That's a whole shtick. And a pilot episode, as a result, needs to do a lot of things. The introduction of any show, the beginning of any book, movie, or game is the hardest part, because you need to do what we call hooking the audience.
The writers coming through.
Yes, of course. And it's exactly what you think it is. It's making the audience want to keep watching, reading, playing. And there's a lot of technique for that. You probably know one of those techniques really well, which is the something stupid is happening in the background. Character is running, jumps, freeze frame. Hi, this is me. You're probably wondering how I got into this situation. It's the McDonald's way of doing a hook. You're making up a stupid scene, which people obviously want to do.
Prime example for that would be the Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah, exactly. You can do it right, I think. The
Emperor's New Groove does it right.
But a lot of mediocre movies use that beginning to make their point, to hook the audience, and I'm gonna reply to that. And yeah, so the hook is very difficult, and the way a lot of other pieces use a lot of other pieces use another technique for their hook, which is just a lot of action. Right? You just open on a space battle, for example, in Star Wars, the second prequel, and a lot of stuff like this, because, well, it's a lot of flashy stuff, and, it kind of makes you want to watch more if it's well done. But the more subtle way to do this, I don't think it's that subtle, but I will still point at a show I think that did its hook really well in its pilot, which is Breaking Bad. In Breaking Bad, you start with the main character. I forgot his fucking name. Walter White, stumbling out of a van in his undies, grabbing a camera and recording a message to his family saying that he's sorry, that everything he's done for them, and that people are probably going to start saying bad things about him, but they're probably false. it's a good way to... It's not pure action, and in fact the character comes off as really pathetic, as he should, in that intro. But yeah, that's something you can do. Sadly, the Hazbin Hotel pilot is not very good at hooking the audience and at making you want to watch more.
At least it does lean a bit more into the crass humor.
Yes, I feel they were a little conflicted in what they wanted to do. Do we introduce the plot? Do we introduce the characters? Do we just make a lot of jokes? And they kind of did all of that. It's the problem of the pilot. I don't hate it, don't get me wrong, but the pilot is definitely one of those pieces of media where you can tell that they wanted to do too many things. And everything was a bit of a mess. The voice acting was a mess. Almost every character was recast after the show was greenlit with Amazon. The animation is an absolute mess, but at the same time they were experimenting with their style still, and thankfully with Helluva Boss they were able to settle on the style that I think was easier to produce, that is more closer to like sort of flash animation than the hand-drawn animation that it looked like when it started. So yeah, they were able to do quite a lot of things, but the pilot is a mess. The pilot is a mess. We're introduced to many characters really quickly without enough characterization to know exactly. They're very surface level. One character, if you look at Angel Dust, anyone would tell you, oh, he's a slut.
I mean, yes, a slut.
But yeah, the pilot does a good job at showing you the archetypes of the characters, but that's about it. There's a song in it. I don't think that was necessary. But the way the pilot is made is very simple. Charlie, the daughter of Satan, of Lucifer, wants to make that hotel, and she wants to promote the hotel that she has the building. They're ready to start.
Yes,
so,
and it's about helping sinners in hell
towards redemption.
Yes, redeem.
To redeem them.
A lot of people in hell are not that interested about.
Yeah. Now, the focus of that changes in the actual show, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because again, it was a pilot episode. Not everything is set up during the pilot. If you look at the pilot episode of Steven's Universe, not only does it look nothing like the actual show, but there is no overarching plot even being introduced in it. So, differences can happen. But yeah, she's about to open that. She's about to open that hotel. She goes to like a media thing, an interview, and they try to present the first person that is part of the hotel, which is I forgot his name. I'm bad at this. Can you help me?
Who was the radio demon?
No, the first the spider, the Angel Dust.
You already mentioned him.
Yes, but I forgot. Not very smart. So to show that it can work, they use Angel Dust, which is a porn star in the universe. So they try to use him as a look. If he can get redeemed, you all can get redeemed. Kind of thing. And it goes bad because just as she's on TV, Angel Dust starts shooting at people because a thing that is currently happening, which is a purge, which is not explained. It is not, and in fact, the concept of the purge changes completely between. No, it does not. Oh, sorry, I'm saying
it doesn't change.
No, we start the episode at the end of a purge.
Yes, and what he gets involved in is a turf war with an old friend of his.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, the purge itself is mentioned. It's not explained. It becomes a lot more important in the actual show. But in any case, gets there, basically destroys their campaign. He basically ruins their campaign. They go back to the hotel, a bit defeated. Charlie calls her mom. The mom doesn't answer, and she's looking for help. She's looking for support. And then Alastor appear. I have a lot to talk about Alastor, I can tell you. I have a lot to say.
Okay, yeah, we might need to move a bit faster, by the way, if we want to get there.
Yes, indeed. And Alastor basically tells them, I'm gonna help you because I think it's a stupid goal that you have and it's gonna be hilarious to do. They have a fight scene, and that's the end of the pilot. And now we go toward the first 4 episodes of Hazbin Hotel. The first 2 episodes are meh. Because I think I'm not the only person, I'm not the only one who thinks this, but I don't think, even though I'm going to rage about it for a bit now, Hazbin Hotel is not a bad show. It is not bad. It's just that when I saw what they could do with Helluva Boss, and I talked about all this emotional core and all this, I felt Helluva Boss is something they're doing, on YouTube. It's a web series. Now that they have actual money, they're with Amazon, I thought they can do so much with Hazbin Hotel. And the first 3 episodes are meh. We're introduced to one of the character of the pilot, Sir Pentius, who starts as betraying them, but actually isn't betraying them, and he ends up joining them. We're introduced to certain powerful demons, like the TV demon and his whole group of they're basically influencers.
Yes.
And we're also introduced to the fact that there's a feud between Alastor and what's the name? And the V's. All that. Just a lot of world building, which is normal, but it's just not a lot is happening, and we have no focus, or very terrible focus, on the principal part of this show, which is redemption, right? But there is a plot. The plot is that the purge that we talk about is actually done by heaven. Angels, specific angels from heaven, which are called inquisitors, I think.
Yes.
That makes sense. It's fitting. Inquisitors come once a year and just kill demons to keep their population to a level where they could not go and overthrow heaven. Basically, that's the general idea. And at the beginning of the first episode, it's kind of a repeat of the pilot in the sense that the purge is just over. Charlie is tasked by her dad to go have a meeting with the people of heaven, and when she goes to meet them, she tries to talk about her plans to open a hotel to try and redeem their damned souls. Obviously, the people from heaven are not really happy with that, and they actually announce to her, in a way that we don't know why yet, but that actually they're not going to wait a year for the next purge, and they're going to be back in 6 months. The reason for this is that actually one of the Inquisitor was killed during the last purge. Normally, no weapons from hell can kill beings from heaven. So this is why they're extremely worried, and they really want to make sure that what they want to do in 6 months is not actually another purge. They want to eradicate hell. That's what they want to do. Yeah. So that's the overarching plot. It's the time bomb, the time limit that we have in what is supposed to create tension.
Yes.
So this is all set up during the first 3 episodes. We hear about all this. We hear about a group
and it is as much of a mess as it sounded when we explained it, because
it is chaotic.
It is too much. It is chaotic.
It is chaotic. Too much is introduced. For example, the V's are introduced, but the V's have no stake in the first season. So that they are introduced is a thing, but we spend like almost 2 episodes on them for them to have actually no relevance. An entire song is dedicated of the feud between the V's and Alistair for that to never be resolved in the first season. And it's just a lot of wasted time when there's so much to be introduced. You need to introduce this conflict between heaven and hell. You need to introduce the purge and the fact that they're coming back and that someone is dead, and that's just a lot. A lot. But then comes the 4th episode.
A really good episode.
And dear God, that episode gave us both hope. When we watched the first 3 episodes, we were like, this is meh. This is not bad. Yes. This is not good. This is just...
But it just really flew under our expectations, because Helluva Boss shifted from zany cartoon violence with cursing to deep character building about people in shitty situations.
Yeah.
Like, it focused way more on the relationships of these deeply flawed characters.
Yeah. So, I'm going to focus a bit more on this 4th episode, because it is just that good. The 4th episode focused on a character that, from the beginning, from the fucking pilot, feels like one of the core characters of the show, Angel Dust. Angel Dust is a sex worker that we learn actually is in the position that he is because he made a pact with a demon that basically owns him, and that demon happens to be doing sex films, and that's how he got into that situation. This episode all focuses on the fact that Angel Dust is putting up a front. He's acting all flirty and sexual, but that's not who he is. And the character that brings that out of him is a character that until now feels like a completely secondary character with no stakes, nothing. The bartender, Tusk, I think his name is Husk. Husk, yeah, sorry, not Tusk, Husk. So he fights with the bartender because the bartender basically calls him fake, and Angel Dust yells at him and then leaves. When that happened, Husk is told, "Hey, you've been kind of a dick. Go and find him." So we move to Husk looking for Angel Dust, and he finds him in a bar where demons are about to roofie him. Husk actually beats the shit out of the demon and gets Angel Dust outside, and there they have a fight where Angel explains that yes, he knew he was about to get roofied. It's not his first time, and he didn't need his help. And they have this back and forth as to why would you fucking do that, right? Why would you treat yourself that way? This is not correct. It's not proper. This can't be who you are, because if this is who you are just a shallow bitch, basically. And this is where the core of the trauma of Angel Dust is revealed. He's made this pact. He's given this soul to this demon, and now he's basically owned by him. And yes, in universe, you okay? Oh, that's Lucifer. Yes. In the show, obviously, it's used as this pact, soul pact with a demon thing. But in real life, it can be, a lot of things. Money dependency, people who are forced into sex work is a thing that happens, and it is horrible because...
Oh, dear God, I do not wish to do this puzzle. This talk faster.
We still have a lot to go on. I'm sorry. I'll have to censor that. That's it. Anyways. So where was I?
Yeah.
Where was I? I lost my...
We can cut this all out.
Yeah, so we go to the core of the trauma of Angel Dust, and even though it's about giving his soul to a demon, it can be very close to force prostitution, forced sex work, and that sort of stuff. And that's kind of how it's presented. He doesn't have a choice. In the show, it's about a soul, but in real life, he owes money to someone, and that person is using sex work to make him pay. It's fucked up in any way you look at it. And that's basically what the core of his problem is. He's owned by this person, and no matter what he does, because he has to go and do what this person does, he can never truly get himself better, the way he sees it. He could try to stop drugs, but he'll be forced to take drugs for the shoots. He could stop alcohol, but he'll be forced to get into alcohol for the shoots. He could stop having sex in general, but he'll be forced to have sex for the shoots.
No, that's not what his problem is. That's not why he doesn't stop drinking.
No, but I do think it's a part of it. Because his
it's never shown that he has to take drugs during the shoots.
It's never shown, but it's implied.
It's also never implied.
It is. It is.
Not really.
It is implied in the song. It is implied.
The song is about him wanting to break himself, so he's worthless to.
Yes. Okay, maybe that's interpretation, so I'll leave that out. Still, he's trapped in that thing, and he thinks he can't get better, and the only solution he sees to get out of this contract, basically, like the song says, Poison, is to break himself. He has a very telling line after the song where he says, maybe if I break my... It's not exactly what he says, but it's in the lines of, if I break myself enough, maybe he'll stop wanting to play with me.
Yeah.
Basically. Which is a terrible way to look at it, obviously. But that shows the tragedy that is this character, is that what he puts up is a front, because the more trashy he looks, the worse he'll be treated. And that might be enough to get out of this fucking contract. And there comes what is probably the best part of this episode, which is the song. It's an extremely good song. You're a Loser. The song is called Loser, I think. And basically Tusk reveal Husk. God damn it! I'm gonna do it. Husk revealed that he's basically in the same situation, in a different way. He sold a soul to who is revealed to be Alistair, and he has to basically be his little errand boy whenever Alistair calls for him, and there's nothing he can really do about it. And they basically, during the song, bond over the fact, and he shows the fact to what's his name?
Angel Dust.
Angel Dust. Hard time with that. He basically tells Angel Dust, yeah, you're in a fucked up situation, and this is horrible, but so am I. You're not alone, and together we can make it. That's kind of the idea, and that just because you're in a bad situation, also, it's not directly said, but just because you're in a bad situation like this doesn't mean you should give up. Yes. It's more of a showing empathy, which is something that adult shows should do. It shows, yeah, we are in the same boat. He literally says we're from the same... I don't remember exactly what the lyric says, but the equivalent of we're in the same boat. And it finished...
We're the same shit sandwich.
Well, yeah. And it ends up on a very positive note. Not that the problems of Angel Dust are resolved. He still is attached to that demon, and that demon is still throwing a wrench in his relationships and all this. But now he has someone that can show him support, which so far Angel Dust didn't have, because of the way he presented himself, because of the way he acted around people, intentionally pushing them away and trying to get hurt. Now he has someone that can actually offer him the support he needs to be able to get better. And that episode, because of this, is really, really strong. It's great. It shows you the potential of the show. A show all about redemption. Of course you would go in a route like this. But then there's the rest of the show.
Yes.
And that's where the problem goes, because that episode is a fleeting moment of maturity that the show shows. The show tackles addiction, physical abuse, sexual abuse, substance abuse. It tackles a lot of very adult mature subject, and it doesn't resolve them, but it comes out of the situation with a very positive message. It comes out with, you're not alone, and we're going to get through this together. Which you could say is a bit childish, but I don't think it is. A lot of people who are in bad situation, like Angel Dust is, end up feeling, like they're alone, that they have nowhere to go, and at the end it doesn't matter because they're worthless. And you shouldn't think that. And having people around you to remind you that no, you're not worthless, you're pretty cool actually, is a nice thing. But the rest of the season doesn't do this. In fact, Angel Dust is only the focus of one more episode, which is nonsensical at best and stupid at worst. But let's go back to the plot, because that's that's complicated. So, the plot basically is, well, now they have 6 months until the next purge, and they need to do something about this. They try to find a solution towards this. There's a few revelations, like the girlfriend of Charlie being an actual fallen angel, which causes a massive plot hole for the future. They realize that the hell is going to attack. They also realize that they can defend themselves. So Charlie and the rest of the group try to go and find a way to defeat the angels and the Inquisitor, and also raise an army. I'm shortening it, but the thing is, from that point on, there's no more character moments or nothing of significant. The one moment where angel does come back to the spotlight is basically a moment where Charlie goes to heaven to try and talk to them, to try and make them stop this purge, and they look into his life, into Angelo's life at this very moment to see if he could be redeemed.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And he's in a club, he's with Husk and the others, and like you said, in the episode 4, even though I talked about it, I do think it has a link, but it's never mentioned. It's certainly not the focus of the episode. Angel Dust has an alcohol and drug problem, but what is shown to be the problem is episode 4 is his relationship with that demon that owes his soul, and how he tries to destroy himself to get out of it, not necessarily the drugs. The drugs are just a tool that he uses to destroy himself. And in that episode, the big conflict apparently is, it starts by having them go to a bar. Angel sees the demon that owes in soul. He has a bit of a panic attack, and then he goes for a drink because his friend that was introduced in the pilot tells him, well, let's just get some drugs, let's just get high. And Husk is kind of like, no, don't do this or you're going to ruin all your progress. Progress that, again, we haven't seen. After episode 4, he's not in the focus, so we don't know what kind of progress he's made.
Yes.
We cut back to the scene with Angel in the Heaven Council, and then we do a sort of back and forth. And the resolution of the scene is not Angel does say no to drugs, kids. Winners don't do drugs. No, he does he does alcohol, but the moment he redeems himself is when one of the side characters goes to see the demon, and the demon shows interest in that character, and that character is kind of childlike. Angel Dust steps up and tells the demon to fuck off, basically, and to stay away from his friends, which is a nice moment, but the setup of the scene and the payoff has nothing to do with one another, and he still took drugs, which is even pointed out by the Council of Heaven. So it's the scene brings nothing. It is nonsensical, and they didn't know what they wanted to do with it, and you can tell.
Yes.
So yeah, that's the last moment where there's an importance with Angel Dust, and after this, we have the final reveal, the twist, which is angel weapons can hurt angels. And like I said, Charlie's girlfriend is a fallen angel, basically, and she should know that. One of her distinctive character trait is that she's missing an eye. She lost that eye the day she became a fallen angel because her basically lieutenant or whatever saw her spare a demon child, and she spoke her out with her sword. So that character should know that angel weapon can kill angels, and also see she has an angel's weapon.
Oh yeah, she has the spear.
So this whole reveal is useless, and she should know about it, and the fact that she doesn't react to it just makes her look absolutely fucking stupid. It is stupid and kind of ridiculous. But yeah, so that happened. There's a final battle. By the way, the big villain is Adam from Adam and Eve. Yes, not the website, the figure in the Bible, which is a dick, but I'm okay with that.
There's a website named Adam and Eve?
Yeah, they sell sex toys. This is not a promo, by the
Oh!
way. This is not a promo, by the way, but it is a website that exists. I just wanted to make a joke. We're not sponsored. We don't make money from this.
Dear God, please never.
So yeah, Adam is the villain. There's a big battle scene, of course, at the end. Alastor fights Adam, gets defeated. It kind of looks like everything is lost. One of the characters sacrifices himself. You probably won't even remember his name by the time this happens. Serpentius sacrifices himself to do nothing, because at the end his sacrifice does absolutely fucking jack shit. What actually saves the day is Charlie's father arriving, so literally Lucifer, and beating the shit out of Adam before Adam gets killed. Which obviously, even if it's positive for the hero, because they successfully fought back heaven, means more shit is coming, right? It's they just defeated. It's an Avatar situation. I haven't seen the new Avatar movie, but the end of the first movie, even though it's a positive ending, tells you, okay, but they're gonna be back, right? And so that's how it ends, with one of the angel having survived the battle, going to see who it turns out is Charlie's mom, telling her, you need to go back to hell and you need to stop your daughter. And the final twist is that Serpentius, having sacrificed himself for his friend, suddenly appears in heaven. He was a demon, now he's redeemed.
Yes.
There we go. It was a demon. He was a damned soul, and he was redeemed, so it's a proof that people from hell can be redeemed, and that's the other big twist of the show that comes before, is that heaven doesn't actually know if the souls damned to hell can be redeemed or not. So there's this whole moral debate. That's the show. It's messy. The introduction of a final battle is, I think, wholly unnecessary. The fact that they go to recruit a group of cannibals to fight the angels is just kind of silly.
Yeah.
They introduce an entire faction and a character, and she has to do a speech to convince them. And I know it's all about her characters, but it's very shallow. It's just there's not enough heart to all this to happen. There's also conflict when it's revealed that her girlfriend is actually an angel, like a fallen angel. But that conflict literally is resolved after she talks to the leader of the cannibals. Charlie talks to the leader of the cannibals.
Like nowhere.
It goes nowhere because it doesn't change much in the end. Because she's a fallen angel, yes, she used to participate in the purge, yes, but she was literally kicked out of heaven because she refused to participate in the purge, so that doesn't fundamentally change her character at all. So that's the season. There's one last thing we need to talk about, and it's good because we're in the last 10 minutes of the show. Alastor.
Yes.
The radio demon is introduced in the pilot as an extremely powerful entity.
Let me take this one, please.
You go.
The Alastor, also known as the radio demon, is like introduced as that like omnipresent character in everybody's mind who like it was like he's been here a long time already. He kind of turned up out of nowhere and basically fucked shit up Major League.
Yeah.
He's described in a way that makes him seem not infinitely powerful, but powerful on just another level.
Yeah.
Like powerful on a level, the way he is described is that even Lucifer would have trouble dealing with him.
Yeah.
He's not explained at all where he got that power from. He just turned up out of nowhere. And like that is also hyped up somewhat over the first few episodes. I'm not sure in what episode. I think it's the third one where he gets a song against the bees.
Yeah, I think it's the third one. He gets a
where
whole
it's like
song.
A lot of things are really well executed. It's just like it's shown that he's the radio demon. He's like radio, like actual radio broadcasting.
Yeah,
whereas like the bees have like
they're the influencers.
TV.
They have TV, they have videos.
Yes. old TV was also analog, by the way, so
Yes.
that doesn't matter.
Yes, but they're not into that anymore.
But
They're
it's
into
shown that his
broadcast.
infrastructure of like loudspeakers all over the city is still intact after years and years of absence.
Yeah.
He's portrayed as a powerful character that's just like weird and unclear how it all works together.
He's kind of presented, and I don't really like to use that term, but he is presented as kind of an unspeakable creature, something that you don't really understand. You don't know what his goals are, his powers are impossible to comprehend. Even people from hell, even higher demon from hell, don't know how he works.
Yes. He's also well connected in like the powerful, like the Lords of Hell or something like that.
Yes, yes. Because
Not actual like, there's also like the upper class of Hell that would be like what the Owl Purse like Stolas from Hell of a Boss falls into.
Yeah,
But
they're like-
no, he's not he's not an aristocrat.
no.
He's just powerful.
The way he's explained is that he appeared one day and he just started slaughtering higher demon, like some of the most powerful demons in hell. He just arrived and started killing them, and he set up a radio broadcast where people could hear the screaming souls of those demons. So, pretty fucking OP, right?
Yes.
The thing they did right for a good half, for the pilot and a good half of the show, is they did not show his power. Now, there's this rule in
They showed his power in
a bit, but
in the pilot. They showed his power, but like it was very much an absolute effortless wiping out of it. At the
Yes.
moment, big seeming threat.
yes. There's this rule, show don't tell. It's a very complicated rule that people on the internet love to simplify.
During his song with the V's, he also knocks their entire system offline without any visible effort.
It's important that for the context for the song is that the V's, especially the TV demon, Vox learns that he's back and he goes on the offensive. He connects to every network and he starts a slander campaign against Alastor, which Alastor completely hijacks and destroys their system, basically. It turns them offline. He just came back, and the first thing he does is the one enemy that seems to know him and that presents themselves as a threat to him, he just wipes the floor with them. So that's the kind of character we're showing. There's also this whole the end of the song where he kind of start turning into a bigger thing. Like, his powers and his abilities are hinted at, but he's the kind of creature that you should be very careful about showing their actual power, because their mystique, their entire mystique, if you agree, comes from the fact that we don't know where their power ends, and we don't know what they could do, and everyone is scared of them. That's what makes them, their presence so intimidating. He makes pacts with people. His resources seem unending. He's constantly, it looks like he's always a step ahead of everyone. That's where he looks the best. But near the end, they actually show a scene, and that's the biggest mistake they've made. A group of people, like a random character shows up at the hotel. This character is actually fleeing a group of people who attacked the hotel. And Alastor is like, alright, don't worry about it, I'm going to take care of it. And steps outside, and from this you would expect a scene where you don't see anything. You just hear horrible noises. Maybe a character looks outside and just looks back in, and everyone's like, what's happening? It's like, you don't fucking want to know. You don't fucking want to know what's happening. But no. They show him reveal his true form. He just gets big and he eats people.
Yeah, it looks goofy as fuck.
It's as stupid as if you take a cat, because it's a bit of an eldritch entity situation, right? If you take a creature like
it's like revealing Cthulhu, and then you see that Cthulhu is just killing people with a fucking Glock.
Yeah, it's like the entire mythos, the entire idea that you built of this character and his power and his goal suddenly seems so small and simple that it just sucks. And during the final battle, he goes against what's his name? Adam, with the
And he
intention
gets his
to kill him,
ass handed to him.
and he actually gets hurt, which causes him. He seems surprised by this. It's revealed before that he actually also, like, his soul is owned by someone else, and apparently that's where he would get his power from. And this final scene is him fleeing, and then having a monologue about how, no, he's not just going to die for his friends and disappear. He has his own plans, and he's going to find a way to get rid of his chains. And that's it. That's the whole reveal of his plans, is that from the beginning he just wanted to get rid of his chains. And yeah. It's a disappointment. Alastor is the kind of character, like, if I had to compare him to one character that is not as interesting, but in terms of power level, it's kind of what they needed to have here. My Hero Academia. One for all, how is he called again? All Might. All Might is shown as this all-powerful hero, and anytime he gets on screen and beats the shit out of a villain, you understand why. You understand why he's seen as the number one hero, because no matter the situation, he manages to get back on his feet. He's hyped as the strongest, and you see him being the strongest. Alastor is shown as this entity that basically took complete control of Hell, or could have, and his goal is half revealed to just be, yeah, actually, I want to not have my soul owned by someone else anymore. It should have been something bigger, something grander, or it should have not been revealed at all. But yeah, at the end, once you finish the first season, it's not bad. Again, it's the problem I have with this show. My problem isn't that the show is bad. It's just that it could have been so much more. It could have been an awesome show. The kind of show like Castlevania that is just wonderful. Amazing. Kind of show like Full Metal Alchemist. Amazing. Great. Talks about war crime. Awesome. I love war crimes. I shouldn't say that. But in the end, it's just It has one really good episode that tackles a lot of adult subject, and then for the rest, the show even has a song about the power of love.
Oh god, yeah.
It's in the last episodes. It's when the one of the demon reveals how to kill the angels. They literally have a song that is the equivalent. It's literally the equivalent of you do it for him. You know the fucking song?
Oh god.
It's basically that song, but with slightly different word. Instead of the power of friendship, it's the power of love. It is ridiculous. Yeah. It is ridiculous. And as a result, because of this, I don't know what caused it. I don't know if it's a lack of preparation, lack of planning. I don't know what caused it. But in the end, the result is that the show that is supposed to be adult ends up failing a bit. Yeah. It doesn't feel as adult. It has a lot of swear words. It has a lot of sexual innuendos and jokes. But when it comes to trauma, when it comes to the emotional core, it falls flat. It has a handful of good moments, but at the end, it's not bad. It's just meh. Could have been better, but it was just that. And that's a shame. There.
Yeah, it really does fall flat.
And yeah, that's basically my view on Hazbin Hotel. I am not interested in watching the second season, but I know I will, because I have hope that they will do better for the second season. But I will probably stick with Helluva Boss, because even though Helluva Boss is technically, doesn't have as much production quality behind it, I think the problem that ultimately plagues Hazbin Hotel is that it has a main story that is slightly not compatible with redeeming people. There's a kind of a disconnect between a story about we need to fight heaven to prevent them from destroying hell, and I want to actually prove that you can redeem people. On a surface level, it is connected, but in actuality, it's two completely separate objectives. Because at the end, when hell is coming, there's no question about redeeming people. It's just all about how are we going to materialistically be able to fight heaven. So, yeah. That is what I think of Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss. No hate on you if you like it, because it is not a bad show. Like I said, I expected more of it. And that's my fault, because the show never promised to be more than what it is. But it could have been, and I'm just sad that a show that kind of had the dream, it started as an internet thing, and it actually got the budget to do what they wanted. It's a shame that it couldn't be more. Do you have anything to add?
No. It's just, I won't watch the second season because after like the 5th episode, I think I was out for Hazbin Hotel.
Yeah. You were after, like, I think you stopped 2 or 3 episodes before the end. You were just like, I don't care, and I was like, well, I'm gonna watch them.
Yeah.
and I kind of told you what happened in them. So yeah.
Yes.
That was our episode about Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss. I hope you liked it. It was a more negative episode compared to the previous one, so for the next one we'll try to have a lighter subject, or a subject that we're less... no, I don't think we were that negative about it. I tried to, be as partial as I could be about Hazbin Hotel, but the end was definitely negative. So yeah, we'll see you next time, maybe in a month, maybe longer. No promises. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
And you just finished that thing.
Yes.
Did you finish the game?
Yes, that's I think the end of the game.
Beautiful. Oh,
God.
Amazing.
Yeah, my take on
Go ahead.
Helluva Boss works because it has the time to focus on the characters.
It doesn't have any overarching plot that it has to resolve.
Yes.
So you can just
Hazbin Hotel doesn't work because it has an overarching plot that it wants to focus on, but I'll be perfectly honest, the overarching plot is a bit shite.
It is. It's not that it's shite, it's that it's messy. It's very
and
messy.
It's written. I think the overarching plot is not that great. I'll be perfectly honest.
Yeah. And
it is written so messily. They don't introduce concepts right. They waste time. They don't
spend. It's ironic, but they don't spend enough time on the characters. A show about redemption should focus on the characters, and at the end, the only ones we really, really know, Angel Dust, a bit of Husk, but mostly Angel Dust, and Charlie. That's the main one we know. There's just not enough. We know, like, that's the thing about Helluva Boss. There's so much more time spent on the characters. It's much better. But yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for listening / watching.
Yeah.
And
this episode was also a bit of a mess from our part. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the point of this thing that we have bullet points, but we don't structure.
Yeah.
We don't structure, and it's the interest is the rambling, I think.
Yes.
That's the. I mean, if you're not interested by that, go away. You're allowed to.
I mean, this episode we had too much. We had to do too much groundwork.
Yeah, I think we should have separated it. I think it should have been an episode for Hazbin Hotel, an episode for Helluva Boss. That would have been much better.
Instead, you're getting one slightly longer episode that has more than usual rambling in it.
Yes.
Yay! Our next episode will hopefully be something lighter.
Yeah.
Or it will be something worse. We have some really nasty things on our list.
Yeah, we'll still try to do an alternative, like an alternance between like Renty and not Renty. Yes.
I do think we can do a proper good Renty episode too at one point.
Yes.
And the next episode you're playing video games because it's really bloody hard.
Yeah, no problem. I'll play for the next one. But yeah, this episode, since we had 2 subjects and we had so much groundwork to do,
Yeah.
It was a bit more messy. There was so much to explain. So yeah.
Anyways.
Well, we're new to this anyways, and we're not professionals. Unless, I mean, if you can't tell, that's your problem.
There will be another episode next month, for sure.
Don't say that.
Listen, I said it with that voice. Nobody will actually believe that.
Nobody is listening anyway.
Ooh! Ouch! Burn!
Alright, this outro is way too long. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.
Bye.